what you just said, when you said all you need is the fans, and all you really need is what's called diehard fans, and that's where the 1,000 true fans principle comes in. Well, there's multiple names for it. There's the 80-20 principle, which I also learned from my mentor, the Pareto principle. But in terms of music, what they call it is the 1,000 true fan principle. And I'm pretty sure people who are listening, some of them may have heard this. But the idea is, if you can build your fan base, or your email list, however you want to build it, to 1,000 people who will buy literally anything you come out with, right? All you need is 1,000 people versus, let's say, and it's really just to kind of negate the idea that you need like a bunch of fans on Facebook, like 2 million fans, right, who don't buy anything from you. All you need is 1,000 people. This is just a principle, right? A benchmark. 1,000 people who will buy anything that you put out. It could be ticket sales, it could be music, it could be merchandise. And all you have to do is just produce $100 worth of material per year. You could make, if you calculate that, that is $100,000 a year that you're making off of just 1,000 people.
Wow.
So it's really the whole idea of the true fan principle is really focusing on the quality of the people who are following you and making sure that you're zeroing in on your loyal fans.
Right.
So that's pretty much the idea. Because like you said, a lot of people are focused too much on the likes and the shares, but if that doesn't translate into money, and if you spend your time just getting a small list of people who will literally, if like I said, it's easy for a musician to put out $100 worth of material in a year, right? So if you get 1,000 people who are just constantly buying from you, that's 6 figures a year.
Wow.
Automatically.
And it seems so simple, but it's a lot of it's work, obviously, but it's being dedicated to the work and not being dedicated to the hype. Because some people will be like, well, I'll put out $10 worth. I'll put out one album a year or whatever, and try to live off the hype, when it's just like, bruh, you could actually be making money,
right,
with your actual fans and not people who are just likers and all that good stuff. That's awesome. I'm actually going to try that.
Yeah, and the other thing that I would encourage musicians to look into, especially, is membership programs. Have you heard of Patreon?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Because a lot of people...
That's big in YouTube community, right? Or I guess that's
Patreon?
Big. Yeah.
Patreon's a separate site.
I know. I know there's some of the people I follow on YouTube, they're always talking about people
Patreon,
that on their Patreon. Yeah.
Or Vimeo.
Supporting their... So that's kind of like Venmo and like Cash App. That's like investment.
It's basically what they've done recently is they've converted themselves into a full membership site, so you can create multiple tiers of membership programs for your fans. So the higher tier that they enroll in, the more exclusive content that they get from you. So let's say what I could do, I could easily turn my piano course into well, actually, I have a membership program, but basically what I could do is I can go, okay, I'm going to put out one video a week. I can do like one live piano course, or a piano lesson, like an hour, a week, and my patrons can pay me like $10 a month to access those live and recorded videos. So I said $10 a month, right?
Yeah. So
if I get, 500 people to enroll my Patreon, now I'm making $5,000 a month on a continuous basis.
Oh, wow.
So now, because of the idea that it's structured as a membership site, I don't have to worry so much about where my money's going to come in next month, because I have a good idea of how much money I'm going to make next month, the month after, and the month after, because it's recurring income.
So it's pretty much like you are like Netflix.
Basically.
And people can pay to access your content. That is awesome. And I guess you could upload whatever
you want. You can structure it however you want. You can put whatever content you want on whatever tiers that you want, or tier levels that you want.
And each tier level is a different price.
Right. So you can do, I know a lot of people are doing like $1 a month. There's this one guy, what is his name? He has like this comic series called Pixie and Brutus, or Brutus and Pixie. It's basically about this veteran dog. It's like and all he does is he has like this 3 to 4 frame, cartoon or comic that he puts out like 4 times a month, like very simple comics, right? So it's about this veteran dog who gets adopted into this family who has this kitten named Pixie, and the comic series is really just following their life and relationship, as a family. And you get like 4 exclusive comics from that story per month, and this dude has like 13,000 patrons paying him $1 a month just for a 4-frame comic series that he puts out 4 times a month.
Wow.
So it's just, the possibilities from that are endless. But one thing that, like I said, my mentor had, basically instilled in me is you have to have some kind of continuity in your business, because like you can put out courses that you can sell once, but if you have, automatic recurring income coming in, that's money that you're going to be making, each month.
Right.
So.
Also genius. Yeah, we definitely have to get on the Patreon ball. That's awesome. Cool. So what made you want to set up your online lessons versus going in kids' houses? Obviously,
it's leverageable.
Who doesn't love to do that? I have 37 private students, and it can be overwhelming. I actually have 2 students after I leave here, and then but the reason why I decided to go to course routes, because I want to leverage my time, because it's a course that's already recorded and it's already uploaded. I don't have to do anything. So I can sell as many as I want, and I don't have to physically be anywhere. I could be selling my courses literally anywhere in the world. Wow. I think I think the furthest student I have is in Amsterdam. But the point is, he just buys my course, or she just buys my course, and they just go through it on their own. So that saves me from having to physically go to someone's house or even have to leave my house at all to make money. I could literally be making money in my sleep, because the thing that's making me money is already published and it's already online. Right. And so your courses, they're connected through Patreon or through your own personal website?
It's from my personal website, and basically, well, it's I don't want to say it's a personal website. It's not Patreon. I use this. There's a website called Teachable that allows you to build and sell courses. So it's like a course building and selling platform. But you can build your own website under Teachable's name, or you can even what's the word I'm looking for? White hat, where you can take Teachable's logo off. So you can make it look like it's your own site, but you're using Teachable's platform to put it up. So that's what I'm using right now.
That's actually awesome. I think I might explore that possibility. Cool. So if you have that, what would you need Patreon for like other stuff?
I was just using that as an example.
Oh, okay.
Patreon's one way. And even if you wanted to do the course route, if you want to do memberships or, build a membership around the course, you can use Teachable for that too, because Teachable also allows you to, build memberships from your courses.
Oh, wow. And it has the tiers and stuff too?
Yeah, you can do all that. Yep. With Teachable too.
Wow.
Yeah.
Teachable. That's awesome. Cool. So, what would you say is the biggest misconception about marketing and branding of musicians?
Wow, I didn't think about that. The biggest misconception that musicians have about marketing, or just
like when most musicians think about marketing and branding, like what is it that they're probably not getting?
It's not as complicated as they think. I think that's one, and actually I'm actually in the process of co-creating a course with another friend of mine, and we're actually getting ready to release a course for musicians and artists. And he actually asked me the same thing. He's like, what is it about artists that, what are their struggles in terms of, what is their needs? And I said, well, one of the biggest struggles is the fact that they're not making money off of their music, but that's mainly because they don't understand marketing. And I think that they have like somewhat of an aversion to marketing, if that makes sense. They make it seem like it's a chore and like, oh, it's all this work. Yeah, it's a bit of a learning curve, which, you kind of have to do it. But one thing I learned about marketing, because I used to hate marketing too, but once I learned how to do it, I realized it's just another form of art, just like music. So in a way, they're kind of like two sides of the same coin. Right. Because you're using your creativity to reach out to different people. And that's what marketing allows you to do. But it's really about you being guided by the right people who understand both marketing and the music industry to connect the two. Right. But I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions about marketing, is that I think people think that marketing is this big, super complicated formula, when it really isn't. You just have to put in the work. Right.
I think I should have questioned it or phrased it as like self-marketing versus, because I think people think, oh, well, somebody's going to discover me and then someone else is going to handle all that. And I'm like, Because we're so conditioned for someone else to be doing everything, and all we have to do is get on stage and do our stuff. And I'm just like,
yeah, it doesn't work
like
that
the
way.
more control you give to the powers that be, quote unquote, like the more money you're giving away.
Right. And you know what? I used to think the same way. And my mentor, you kind of snapped me out of that. And did you see the interview that I had with him a few years ago on, oh, you didn't see that interview, did you?
I don't think so. No.
I'm going to send it to you. But I was like, yeah, you have the artist, type of mindset, and then you had the manager type of mindset. And he said, well, honestly, he said, even if you're working with other people, you need to know a little bit about your own marketing, because if you pass it off to somebody else, they may be able to cheat you, out of, what you're doing. That they may be able to scam you because they know that you don't know about marketing, and they know that you're too, I don't want to use the word lazy, but, to put in the work, that they can just do whatever they want. So if anything, the only time that you should delegate to other people is when your brand or your music becomes too big for you to do it yourself. Not because you don't know about marketing or because you don't feel like doing marketing. You have to kind of learn at least the basics of marketing before you start bringing other people into the mix.
Definitely. Because I always say, if they can get you, they will get you. That's just human nature. And like, you would like to think that everybody's on your side and everybody's good and all that stuff. But the reality, like I said, look at the history of the music industry, and it'll show you, if they can, they will. They will.
Oh, absolutely. They
will. Especially if your skills can generate dollars and they can see that, then the wheels are automatically turning. Like, okay,
right.
Let's see how much money I can make off of this person.
Exactly, capitalize off of them.
That's a shame, man. But it's dope that you provide a service for these people, artists and musicians alike, because we desperately need it.
Yeah.
Especially in this town. Philly's, it's bubbling with amazing talent. Not a lot of intelligence.
You said that, I didn't.
Yeah. It's not a lot of intelligence. But yeah, it's a lot of talent. But people need to be knowledgeable about this thing, especially if they want to be serious about being artists and musicians.
Yeah, and I will say this because a lot of people, when I went into the music industry and I decided to make it my career, one of the things that I was afraid of was when people say, oh, you're going to be a starving artist, there's no money in the music industry. And looking it up, I'm like, what's the worth of the music industry right now? Like somewhere in the billions, yes, like $15 billion, something like that. But, I was under this misconception that my success in the music industry was based off of chance. And I was thinking to myself, well, I thought it was just a matter of just making the odds in my favor. And even still then I was wondering, I'm like, why is it that a small pocket of people make it in the industry, and all these people who say they want to get into the industry are still struggling? And then the more I, got into it, the more I learned about it, I realized a lot of people, they say they want to be in the industry, or they say they want to make it in the industry, but then when they're presented with the work that they have to actually do, they go, oh, it's not worth all that work. A lot of musicians, like, they'll post a song on SoundCloud, and that's what they consider work. You create the music, but that's only 1/3 of the work. You can't just put it on SoundCloud and hopefully some label executive will, listen to it and give you a call. That's not how the industry works. You actually have to. As a matter of fact, I think the way the record labels work is they wait for you to kind of build your own buzz first, and then they approach you after that. So in a way, you still have to put in, your own work before you can really get discovered, if that's the route you want to take. So
right. And it's so funny because, like you said, all you really need are fans. So you build yourself a fan base just to go to a label who's going to give you an advance that
you don't need
because you already have fans. And then they're going to distribute your music to your fans that you already have, which is like hilarious to me. It's like, I like when Drake had that, when he won that, I think it was his last Grammy, and his speech was basically like,
oh yeah, I was in. They cut him off too.
Yeah, they cut him off, but
mad.
It was so real, because it was just like, yo, if you got people coming to your shows, people spending their hard-earned money coming out to your shows, singing your lyrics, like, that's pretty much what it's all about. Like,
right.
A board of people deciding whose music is better is just like, that's really just irrelevant.
It really is.
But some